Alright, so we're going to take notes on parallel and perpendicular lines. Alright, first definition is parallel lines are coplanar lines that do not intersect. Okay, they do not intersect. The symbol, which looks like this, just two little lines going up and down, kind of like an 11, means is parallel to. So if you look at this picture down here, if I labeled this line A, B, and I labeled this other line C, D, then I could say that these two lines are parallel. I would write it like AB with a little line over it because it's a line, parallel to CD. Okay. Another way that you can mark things being parallel is by putting little arrows on them. So when you see two lines drawn with these arrows on them, that's the book or the picture trying to tell you that the lines are parallel. Okay? But this symbol, two straight lines next to each other, means parallel. Alright, we're also going to talk about the slope of parallel lines. Okay, remember slope is rise over run. It's the rate of change. Okay, when you do y equals mx plus b, okay, the slope is in this spot here in front of the x. Okay, it says if two non-vertical lines are parallel, then their slopes are equal. Okay, their slopes are exactly the same. Okay, any two vertical lines or two horizontal lines are parallel. So all vertical lines are parallel to each other and all horizontal lines are parallel to each other. Any other time that we have two lines, these two lines, I'm going to say that they're parallel. Okay, if these two lines are parallel, then they would have the exact same slope, which kind of makes sense because slope is rise over run. So you would rise and then run, rise and then run, and you're going to rise and run the same distance on both lines. So that makes sense. Okay. Perpendicular lines is our next definition. Perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect to form right angles. The symbol that looks like this, looks like an upside down capital T, means is perpendicular to. So if we have a picture here, okay, I would know that these lines are perpendicular if there's a little square drawn in here. That little square, of course, means that that's a right angle. If it makes a right angle, which is part of the definition, then they're perpendicular lines. So if I labeled these lines again, AB and CD, then I can say these lines are perpendicular by saying AB, with the line symbol over it, is perpendicular to CD. Okay? The parallel line symbol looks like parallel lines. The perpendicular symbol looks like perpendicular lines. So that kind of makes sense as well. Okay, perpendicular lines, we're going to talk about their slope. If two non-vertical lines are perpendicular, then the product, and product, remember, means to multiply. So if you multiply their slope, it's going to equal -1. Okay, so if I take the slope of one line and I multiply it by the slope of the other line, then it'll give me an answer of -1. Another way to look at this, it means the same thing, but this means that their slopes are opposite signs and they're reciprocals. So opposite signs means that one of the slopes is positive and one of the slopes is negative. Reciprocal means that they're flipped upside down. So reciprocal would be 1 over 2 would be the first slope. If I flipped that, the other slope would be 2 over 1. Again, for them to have opposite signs, one of these slopes would have to be positive, one would have to be negative. Okay, so if this occurs, then you know that the lines are perpendicular. Any horizontal line and any vertical line are perpendicular, okay, to each other. So here are some examples. This says state whether the given pair of lines are parallel. perpendicular, or neither, just by looking at the picture. So if you look at example number 1 here, okay, we're looking at these two lines here, okay, it says, are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Now these two lines look like they're never going to touch each other, and we're going to assume that that's true. So you can go ahead and say that these lines are parallel. Okay, and you can write that out, or you can use the symbol for parallel. So we're going to go ahead and say that these lines are parallel. Number 2, now this is supposed to be number 2 even though my PowerPoint skills are not great. Okay, these lines do touch, so they're not parallel. They don't meet at a right angle because there's no little square in here saying that they meet at a right angle. So this is just going to be neither. They're not parallel, they're not perpendicular, they're just two lines that intersect. Example number 3 here at the end. Okay. Alright, these are going to be perpendicular lines because even though my drawing's a little sketchy here, okay, there is a box in that corner saying that they intersect at a right angle. This is a 90-degree angle, so these are going to be perpendicular. Okay, so you can write it out, or you can use the symbol for perpendicular.